going into our next story. I was intrigued by this story because I like the implications. However, there does seem to be some controversy regarding the implementation of this plan. Now, I've driven across Indiana and seen wind farms. You've got open, barren plains, open, barren spaces, harvesting power through wind. Wind collection it's a smart idea.
Yeah,
I have heard people who are against it. I saw a funny video on. It wasn't funny. There's a video on Twitter where there was a woman who was carrying this giant, beautiful bird that was dead with one of these wind farm blades in the behind her, saying that these wind farm propellers are dangerous to birds. Okay. Okay. I sympathize with the bird. I'm sure that this woman probably eats chicken. And when I saw all of the other responses in this Twitter thread that were extolling the virtues of, this is why we need to keep our pipelines in place. Yeah, so they can burst and poison and pollute the water supply, right? Instead of
those are just the frack holes it's the frack holes who are putting in fake posts against clean energy alternatives to their fracking.
Right. So while we see this in Indiana, they are being proposed here. Now, this comes from Brett Chase at the Sun-Times. Lake Michigan wind farm touted for southeast side. Residents have a number of concerns and questions about local job creation and other potential benefits to the community. I don't think there are any downsides I think that the benefits far outweigh the downsides. That's my uninformed opinion, just like as a layperson, like looking at how it works elsewhere. Seems to work. Okay, so a pair of state lawmakers touted a plan to create Chicago's first offshore wind farm on the southeast side at a meeting Wednesday night, while residents peppered them with questions about how such a project benefits the community. How wouldn't it benefit the community? It's clean. It's going to create jobs. It's literally going to create money out of thin air, in the sense that it's using wind, to create energy that can help sustain, bring energy costs down, and it's safer and it's cleaner. Senator Robert Peters, who was joined by Representative Marcus Evans at the South Chicago Branch Library, said he's pushing the idea for the wind farm because he believes it will help transform the economy of the southeast side, which is home to many polluting manufacturers, and we've reported on lots of them. Too bad Kit's not here. And has never rebounded from the loss of steel jobs 4 decades ago. The plan, he said, would create hundreds of jobs and help the South Side reap the rewards of clean energy. This is a unique opportunity to be at the forefront of something, Peters said. He dubbed the effort a proposal contained in the bill in the Illinois General Assembly as the Rust Belt to Green Belt. Plans for a similar Ohio project are in the works for offshore Lake Erie. The legislation doesn't specifically guarantee a wind farm on the southeast side. Rather, it sets up a process that allows the state to seek federal dollars so it can provide tax credits to private developers who would bid on a project. Look, if they're going to bid on the project, I'd rather it be something that's going to produce clean energy than, allow more recycling plants and polluters to set up shop along the south shore of Illinois and the north shore of Indiana. Peters and Evans, both representing Chicago's South Side, said they hope the windmills can be placed near the Illinois International Port District at East 95th Street. At a nearby area, possibly the former U.S. Steel South Works site, workers would build the concrete foundations for the wind turbines, they said. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, that would create even more jobs because the steel works, where the steel works used to be, they need jobs over there. This would definitely be a good thing.
I just saw a comment in the chat. Kit is here. I think I forgot to send the show link so that Kit could come in tonight. So Kit, if you're out there, I'm going to send the StreamYard link to you through Slack. So stand by for that. I'm opening it on this end. While Slack is opening, Kit, stand by, and I'll get you in here with that link.
So while we're waiting for that, I can just say that, yeah, if they're to set up a process to seek for the state to seek federal dollars is always a good thing, because people need to understand. They need to continue to understand that federal dollars are not funded by your taxes. Okay? If Congress wants to appropriate funds to pay for something, they just pass a bill, the money is created, and then they can use it to spend on that project. So you don't have to worry about my tax dollars paying for this, because they aren't.
Kit, I just sent you the link if you want to pop in. We're here. Let's go to the live chat too.
We'll be here a while.
Yeah. Warren says, my ass is a wind farm on Taco Tuesday.
You know what I want to...
Harnessing the power of methane.
Yes. And you know what I want to know about wind farms is, what do they feed those winds?
So Gene makes another good point to what I was laughing at on Twitter. Birds are killed more by windows and cats. Windows up to 1 billion and cats 1.3 to 4.0 billion. Gene, thank you for getting the exact stats on that. Let's see who else. Yeah, Kathy, we saw the kid is here. What else is in the chat here? I like this idea too. Wind turbines should be publicly owned.
Yeah, well, I think most power systems should be municipal and publicly owned.
That's why they're called public utilities, but they're not really.
Yeah, I think there's a website called Democratize ComEd, where they're trying to turn ComEd into a municipal electric company, which would probably be a better thing for us.
Now,
they have to keep asking us for money all the time for their own upgrades.
So Gene shares a monkey in the wrench, a pain in the ass. Didn't Biden sign a bill saying if you spend on wind turbines that you have to open up acres for drilling oil? I don't know.
If that's the case, that's a bad bill.
Right. Now, JR shares, I would disagree on some of it. There are problems with most clean types of windmills. They have caught on fire, fallen from storms.
Okay.
Land waste, dangerous and difficult to maintain. All right, but all that said, JR, do you see in the photo where those wind farms are going to be put up? Along a shoreline where it's unpopulated. So,
and just because Texas has problems maintaining their electrical systems doesn't mean that other places will.
Yeah.
You just have to have competent people who actually want those things to succeed, instead of just setting them up once, walking away, and hoping they will fail so you can keep fracking.
So they can politicize the issue, and others can make tons and tons of money off fracking, polluting communities, making people sick, without the ramifications or accountability that's supposed to come with that we would want to have to enforce if we kept things clean and safe for people. So they say we can build them here and they can be placed elsewhere, said Peggy Salazar, a longtime community activist, who said she felt placing wind turbines was another effort to stick the southeast side with something that north side residents don't want. Hey, I wouldn't be against seeing this up along Rogers Park. Put them up here too.
Do it right. I mean,
do it right. I look, start on. I don't think that it's bad to focus on the southeast side where it would create jobs, but I think that these residents and activists are a little bit. I think their concerns are misplaced, because I think that you could advocate to have these put everywhere. You can't just say, well, let's not put them in because people on the north side wouldn't want them. Hey, tell the north siders, here's an opportunity. You want your energy bills to go down? Start harvesting the wind. Salazar said,
yeah.
Okay, so Gene, where do you live? We have wind turbines here. They work really well. We don't have problems with them. I'm sure Gene will let us know where she's at. Let me continue the article, though. Yeah. Salazar said she heard a similar proposal some years ago, and at the time it was made clear to me the North Shore didn't want anything to block their view. Well, you know what? There are portions of the North Shore that are very rural. I mean, in between Highland Park and the Wisconsin border, There is a lot of lakefront land there that's unoccupied, and yeah, of course there are rich estates and stuff, but there are as many areas that you could develop and basically tell these North Shore residents that don't want anything, hey, go pound sand. Sorry, it's a great opportunity, and we need it in places. And to that point too, if Salazar is worried about blocking the view on the southeast side, then I think that her concerns are misplaced also, because a lot of the southeast side is industrial land, unoccupied, especially where the steel mills used to be. So if you're going to make this a classist issue, certainly I wouldn't want to see these going up around people's houses, right? The whole point is you keep them out in an open area like this, or along a lot of the open farmland that you see when you're driving the interstates through Indiana. Gene, I'm Costa Rican. We are at 100% renewable electricity, hydro, thermal, volcano, wind, and solar.
So, we got alternatives. They will work. We just have to try them.
South Shore folks don't need to be told what they want. I'm not clear I understand what you mean, Kathy.
You mean from Salazar?
Yeah, I'm not getting the context. All of our electricity, all renewable, is owned by the people, as it should be. Samuel Corona, an organizer with the community group Alliance of the Southeast, said a wind energy developer should be required to enter into an agreement that puts in specific benefits for nearby residents, including local hiring and job training. In an interview, Corona said there should also be a program that teaches skills to high school students, and he left open the possibility of other demands based on future community input. These are all good ideas. Every development is unique. We draw on community input and build it out from there. Chris Weissman, chief executive of Boston-based Diamond Offshore Wind, said hiring goals can be written into developers' proposals. A resident of Evanston, Weissman said that he might be interested in bidding on a project if it moves forward. In an interview, Peter said the meeting Wednesday night is the beginning of what he described would be a strong community engagement process. Hey, I often share I'm sick and tired of bitching about things on this show. I thought that this was like a story that was a step in the right direction. It's a solution. Yeah. It's engaging with the community, see how everybody can benefit. And I think that ultimately this is where everybody's efforts should be focused on, the solutions to these problems. And yeah, I mean, there certainly is a little bit of what's the word, disagreement there. But I don't think the disagreements that I read about in this article in that meeting are that difficult to get past. I do think there's a lot of room for compromise and a lot of room for coming together. So,
yeah. And if windmills aren't your thing, Lake Michigan gets plenty of waves too. So wave generators, I know that those work. I've seen other countries have them.
So Kathy just clarified, we're so big on telling at-risk communities what they need. That's not popular. Okay. I'm not saying that we should be telling an at-risk community what they need. I'm saying we should tell all communities what they need. And again, if they're starting in South Shore, which is a lot of open industrial land by the steel mills, hey, put them in there and show how valuable they can be to win support and understand what a difference it can make elsewhere. So long as they're also with communities.
But also, Jerry, we should ask those communities what they.
Well, isn't that what they were saying? This
their input. Yeah, their input is probably the most important part of that equation.
I agree. I didn't take this report as they're going in and telling Southeast side residents what they should do. The whole point of the meeting was, hey, this is a proposal. We think this is a good idea. It's clean. What do you guys think? They talked about some ideas. It'll create jobs. It will create cleaner energy in that area. They weren't forcing it down their throats. Right. They were exploring where to put these if they were to be put down there, Kathy, because I think there's probably more open land to do down there than there is up on the north side. But again, I'm not saying that this is not something that shouldn't be introduced to the north side as well. Introduce it places where you can win the hearts and minds of people to recognizing that this is the right way to go to prevent the fracking, to prevent the pollution that comes from all of these other fossil fuels.
Yeah, and
Ask
to
them if
achieve
they want.
energy independence.
Kathy, for the third time, I think that they were asking them what's the solution, Kathy? Just no, let's not do it. I mean, I love your ideas and stuff, but I don't understand why you're so against. You know, if this is all about hurting people's feelings because it's not popular to tell an at-risk community what they need, they're not telling them what they need. They're introducing this, they're getting input. And, you know, on the flip side, should we bitch and moan that, oh, well, they're going to start, you know, engage, letting more factories go into the southeast side that are going to pollute the community? This is an alternative to that. I'm just like, where's the middle ground here? Is what I'm wondering. I'm still doing it. Okay, well, Kathy, we can agree to disagree. Okay, yeah, put them in Lincoln Park. What part of there's open, abandoned steel factory land on the southeast side are you not hearing me share? I think that's where they're proposing that they put them to start. Those are not occupied residential communities.